What is a blue zone, and what are 5 habits that help people who live longer live happier, healthier lives?
Let's talk about it right now on episode 106 of the Junto Podcast. That's right, the Together Podcast.
We're getting on in today.
We're getting on in, diving right in.
Doing it.
Interesting topic. If you are new to the podcast, we always talk about life things, hopefully tips on leadership, life, general things, always filtered through the perspective of faith. And Heather, I have never heard of a blue zone, at least as it relates to the topic of health and long life. And
Right.
to clarify, this is not a political podcast.
No.
We're not talking about a blue as it pertains to political parties, but a blue zone as it relates to this idea of health and what we're going to learn about people that live past 100 years old.
Centenarians.
How can we get some of that?
Right. Yeah, so basically a blue zone is a geographic region that is characterized as having lots of centenarians. Centenarians is someone who lives to be at least 100 or more. So that's very interesting.
Very interesting. First of all,
Yep.
There are some out there that probably are thinking to themselves, I'm not quite sure I want to live to be 100, and I could
True.
see that. However, I will say that if I have quality of life
Right, there you
still
go.
yet at 100 and I'm mobile and I'm
Yep.
able to take care of myself, then I would certainly not be opposed
Mm-hmm.
to living to be 100 years old. But let's see what this is all about. And of course, we're going to inject some spiritual concepts in there in terms of what the Bible says
Right.
or our belief and how that plays a role also in quality of life, even if we don't live to be 100.
Right.
Amen.
Exactly.
All right.
The key here is the happy and healthy.
There you go.
That's
Happy
the
and
key.
healthy.
And
Happy
so
and
there are things, we've actually got a great resource here, Very Well Mind. We've used it before.
Oh, yeah. Several times
Wonderful,
on the podcast.
wonderful resource. So very interesting. I'd never heard of a blue zone as this type of geographical region, and there are actually 5 that are listed as being significant, having a significant number of centenarians who reside there, live there happily, healthily.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting. But did you know that the average American lives to about 78?
78.
Okay, that's
I
the
can see
average.
that. My dad passed at 78. Yeah, 78.
Right. Getting up there. It still doesn't seem long enough, though.
It really doesn't.
The
It
older
really
I
doesn't.
get, we're getting closer to that age.
Oh,
and so the
Lord.
younger that seems to me,
It's true. It's true, man.
man.
Oh,
So,
Lord.
but certain regions around the world, people often live well into their 90s and beyond while staying vibrant and active.
Goodness.
Okay. And interestingly, they get there without relying on the supplements, the cold plunges, the cryotherapy,
Goodness.
all that stuff that people say. Live a long life. Take this. Do
Right,
this.
yeah.
Right. So the term blue zone was coined by demographer Dr. Michael Pauline in 2000 while he was researching the exceptionally high concentration of centenarians in Sardinia, Italy. So that's one of the places that is dubbed.
I think it's centenarians.
What did I say?
Centenarians. But no, yeah.
Like a centurion.
Centenarian, now
Got
that I'm
you.
breaking
Thank
it down.
you.
But yes,
Centenarians.
centenarian. Yep. just a quick little tidbit of info
Now
there
that
for
you're
you.
breaking down and using your phonics
Sure,
knowledge.
using the phonics.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Centenarians. That's not what I was saying.
You said centenarian. Yeah, but go.
Okay,
I don't
good.
want to break your chain.
No,
Go
we're
ahead. You're
good.
doing good. You're doing
So
great.
we're good. Okay, so centenarians in this
Centenarians.
Sardinia.
Right.
I'm probably not pronouncing that right. Italy. So that's one of the 5 blue zones that they discuss here. In 2005, explorer and author Dan Bretner.
Can these
Come
people not
on.
have normal names? Goodness gracious.
So he was working with demographers, epidemiologists.
There you go.
You got to give me a minute, okay?
You can tell we're going blind. We hadn't read
are.
all of the articles. I love it.
Yeah. Okay. So they identified additional blue zones where people were more likely to live for 100 years or more. Okinawa, Japan is one. Girls would love that. They love Okinawa. Sardinia, Italy, as we said. Now, this one.
Icaria, I would say. Icaria, Greece.
I'll take it. Greece. Nicoya, Costa Rica. And Loma Linda, California.
One in the United States. Interesting.
Right.
So we've got some centenarians in the United States. We got a blue zone in the United States. And it's very interesting to see where these blue zones are located. Hopefully we can get into the why. And hopefully the key or the point of this is maybe there are some things that we're going to find out in this article that we could adopt into our own lifestyles. And now the goal might not be to live to 100, but I think that everybody can say that they would want to live quality of life while they're here, whether that's 60 years, 70 years. Hopefully, by the grace of God, we get as many healthy years as we can. But let's see what these cities had in common, or the things that they're doing possibly that they had in common to allow them to live into their hundreds.
Amen. So, it wasn't just the fact that they were living these longer lives. They were actually enjoying life and they're healthy.
Right.
So, the lifestyles. There are lifestyle things you can do. Ways to, I guess, extend that longevity or, anyway, lifestyle, cultural habits,
absolutely,
stuff like that, naturally into their daily lives, so to speak.
Well, and I think that's the key right there, as we're going to find out with some of these. I think I don't think any of these are going to be mind-blowing. And let's keep in mind, too, some of these, genetically, some people just have better genetics than others. And it's probably hard to pinpoint exactly.
Right.
Each case is going to be a little bit different. However, I think that we're going to be surprised at how simple some of the things are. And I would say, just from what I've read so far about this topic, is that consistency is going to be a huge part of success. And that's the same with everything. We talk about leadership, we talk about faith, we talk about building a business, even consistency is going to be a huge part of that.
Yeah,
so
that's right. So like we mentioned earlier, it's the daily living. It's the daily things living that you do every day, day in, day out. It's not, I'm going to start this new workout trend and I'm going to try it out and see how it does. Or I'm going to start this new diet fad and see how it goes. These are yes, the healthy activity, exercise, eating well. But there are other things that everyone can do. These are things that I think we all should be doing anyway.
Exactly. Yeah.
Number 1. De-stress through rituals. That doesn't mean crazy.
Right.
Rituals.
Exactly.
That's not what we're talking about. Grounding rituals. Something that promotes stress relief, intentional living like prayer, meditation, are common practices among these people in these blue zone communities. So first of all, they identified these blue zones with having all these centenarians, these people living over 100 years of age, and said, "What are you doing? What do you do with your daily life? What is the key here?"
That's exactly
to this
right.
Long, healthy, happy life, right? So these are just some of the things that I guess with their research that they found out these communities are doing regularly.
Well, I love it because we always, especially now, it seems in modern day culture that we talk about this a lot, even at church, that, science proves the Bible. Science proves it's beginning to prove. They'll find scrolls, they'll find old cities that, are mentioned in the Bible, just all of these things. Proof. It's all there, and science begins to prove the Bible. And I think that's another case of this. When you think about prayer, and for those that, you see something happen in culture and they're like, well, I'm not sending prayers and good vibes. We need action. Well, yeah, you can do both, okay? And so I think we cannot do away with the power of prayer.
Right.
And for us, meditation, that is not an Eastern, for us, it wouldn't be an Eastern type of meditation. That would be a meditation on the goodness of God,
Right.
the thankfulness, living with gratitude and
Grounding ourselves in
meditating,
Him.
grounding ourselves in Him above all else. Now, for those who are obviously different cultures, different religions, that might take on that more traditional meaning. But prayer and meditation is a very, very powerful tool. And it's crazy. It kind of mentions that a little bit here, but it says it also fosters a sense of hope, belonging, and connection to something bigger than ourselves, an anchor that can lower anxiety and increase emotional resilience. And this is what Dr. Cynthia Edwards Hover, Lord, now they gave me a hard one. That's what she had to say regarding prayer and meditation. So she's even bringing that from a clinical perspective.
Yeah, she even said whether religious or spiritual, it gives the nervous system a moment to pause and reset. How often do we need to do that? Pause, reset.
Pause, reset.
All the time.
So even outside of, making this about living to be 100, I think these are just awesome things that you could incorporate into your daily life. She also goes on to say that meditation reduces cortisol, increases the gray matter in areas of our brain related to emotional regulation, helps us become more aware of our thought patterns. So, we talk about, we've done episodes on emotional intelligence, EQ.
We did.
And so this is one of the ways where you can begin to mature your emotions.
Yeah.
Amen.
We all need a little bit more maturity.
Lord Jesus. Exactly.
Yes. So stress levels, when they stay high for too long, the body produces more cortisol, stress hormone. Over time, it wears down, our DNA, man, which may speed up cellular aging, increase the risk for disease. And I'm telling on ourselves right here.
Don't tell on me, girl. You tell on you. Don't tell on me.
I'll just say that it was just me. But sometimes if you run into someone that you haven't seen in a long time, and like they're your same age, you graduated with them.
I know where this is going.
But it's like you think, even if you don't say it to anyone else, but you have thoughts. Sometimes we do. We judge. We say, wow, they must have had a hard life. Like they look older than they should.
They looking rough.
Because maybe they've had a hard life. Maybe there's been stressors. There's been trauma. There's whatever it is. Gosh, is that bad?
Well, I think it's true. It's just part of humanity. And look, that's the reality. Some people do have hard lives, whether it's by choices they've made or not.
Right.
Some people live a hard life because of choices they've made, have blown opportunities, and have chosen to live a life that ends up being destructive to them both physically and spiritually. Some people are born into those circumstances and they spend their whole life fighting, for whatever reason, trying to get to a place of health. But nonetheless, it is something that you can see on physical, in your physical appearance.
Like this is science. The body produces this cortisol. This is a stress hormone, and it speeds up cellular aging. So
yeah,
man, and this doesn't make somebody want to in our fast-paced world, slow down, relax.
I know it, man. Gosh,
so wound
so tight.
Time.
I know. And gosh, I think I would just add to this too that I mentioned this idea of genetics. I think it's important to know family history in terms of medical things.
Right.
It's not always just chalked up to a physical thing or addictions or patterns. Sometimes genetics play a role in all of those things too. So I would just add to be aware of those things, family history, things of that nature, and to throw that in there. And so number one was what I think, and like I said, none of these are going to be mind-blowing, but it's just crazy if you implemented things,
putting them into practice,
that you already know. That's exactly right. Putting them into practice, we think that will go a long way. And so with that, the second one they say that was a common trait found in centenarians is that they have a sense of purpose. And in Japanese, this is known as ikigai or
I would say
ikigai.
Ikigai.
Possibly. If you're
Ikigai.
I
We're probably really saying it
I
so
don't know.
terribly
How's that sound?
right now. Spelled
yeah.
Ikigai. Y'all let us know. I could do the pronunciation. I could look it up.
Ikiagi? Like Miyagi? No,
AI
go ahead.
is the I.
You know, he was
sound.
from
It's definitely
Okinawa,
the I.
Japan, Miyagi,
Yeah,
so
Okinawa.
Ikiagi. Okay, go ahead.
Mr.
Ikigai. Lord.
So a strong sense of purpose, right? Live so similarly, Nicoyans, the Costa Rica people, the Blue Zone, live by plan de vida, or soul's purpose.
Soul's purpose.
Which fosters mindful living aligned with one's values. Knowing your purpose provides direction and meaning, especially during difficult times.
Man, this is everything. You know, especially if you're a believer, you know, if you're part of the Christian faith, the Christian body of believers, you know how important this is. And so having a sense of purpose and being aware of, you know, you belong to God. God created you with purpose, on purpose. Like it wasn't an accident. You were here for a reason. And so automatically, when you know that, man, it gives you you can see yourself rise up, especially if you like lived your life not hearing that, not knowing that, and that's a new concept to you. You're like, wow, wait a minute, I was born on purpose, for purpose, like I have a reason to be here. And so all of those things. And I'll say this too, I talk as I'm getting older to retired people, and I think one of the things that begins to happen after retirement, this is why you see people not wanting to rush into retirement, or they continue to work to some degree after retirement, is because after retirement, you can lose that sense of purpose, that sense of belonging. And so it's very crucial, man. I would say that this is big. This is huge.
It is. I think it's life-changing. Having that sense of purpose boosts self-esteem, reduces feelings of hopelessness, and keeps us motivated and engaged.
Wow, motivated and engaged.
Yes. Now, having a clear sense of purpose may also affect how long we live. Longevity is directly connected to our ability to function, and without purpose, that function begins to decline.
Wow.
We've seen, as you were talking about, our retirement community, our friends in retirement, that you know, they quit working, they quit getting up and going somewhere, they quit getting dressed to go places, so they just sit, they become sedentary. And the aging process,
it's like it quadruples. Quick. Yes, it like boom hits.
So fast.
Scary,
it's
y'all.
True. It's just never quit moving.
It's scary.
Movement is life.
Yeah.
Movement is life.
It's true. And I'll add this too. You know, this to me just re-stresses the importance of a church community. You know, it is a sense of belonging. It is crazy how blessed Heather and I have been, not just through ministry, but really it's the people in our church that have carried us, that have been with us through hard things, who have prayed with us, who have seen us fail and still love us and have prayed for us and encouraged us. And I'm going to tell you, man, you know, you think, oh, I don't need a church with all them bunch of hypocrites. Well, guess what? When you come to the realization that we're all broken and you move that mindset out of people being hypocrites, find a place where people are authentic and real, and you can be open about having struggles, and you don't have to put on a church face where everything is just perfect all the time, but you can actually have those relationships that, yo, man, I'm struggling. Pray for me. I'm struggling with this. I'm struggling with that. Man, it is absolutely everything. And so I would say having a sense of purpose can easily be found, and those needs can be met in a church body, in a church family.
Yeah, 100%. That's the quickest way to forget your struggles and your problems that you're going through, is go and serve someone else, serve alongside someone.
That's right.
Get to know that person, them get to know you, foster a relationship, create a relationship. So many positive benefits with serving and being a part of a local church community. So many.
No
So
doubt.
many. So the next one, prioritize social connections.
Prioritize, which seems like the antithesis of what we want to do. Is that the right word? The opposite is antithesis? Does that mean the opposite of?
I think it means the opposite.
So that seems like the opposite of what we do in our culture now. We're like, we think we're social because we're on Facebook, but really when it comes to those in-person connections, we're like, ugh.
We're failing miserably.
Right.
Blue zone communities thrive on meaningful social connections. Sardinians, for instance, have close-knit communities and a family-centric lifestyle. Family-centric.
I like
which is the whole plan of it's biblical we come here, we're born here into families, and it's like instant community.
Yeah.
For those who aren't born into that family-centric fellowship community, then seeking that in other ways, however that looks, as you said, a local church body.
Absolutely.
Right? If we don't have the familial aspect of that, there are ways putting yourself out there and finding those connections.
There are literally groups and clubs and everything for anything you could think of. My gosh, from knitting to, literally you could find a support group or club about anything, even things that aren't good. You know what I mean? And so
100%.
I'm just saying there are ways to connect with others. And so I think prioritizing those social connections, it kind of reminds me of a video I just actually sent to my daughter yesterday, and I forgot the term, but he was talking about essentially is that when you get in the habit of like not getting outside, it just becomes harder and harder not to do.
Yeah.
And they called it a type of, gosh, I wish I could remember it, but it's so true, is that it really is vital and important that you do not isolate so much. And I think we like to be isolated as people. Sometimes I think it can be a great thing when you need to tear away and relax and de-stress, but also the social aspect is very, very important because let's be honest, we were created to be in community. We believe that as believers.
That's it. Amen.
All right. This next one kind of seems it might be hard. This might be the hardest one for me. I'm going to let you read it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Eat a diet high in plants.
High in plants.
So the Blue Zone diets mirror the Mediterranean eating pattern, which limits intake of added salt and sugar, and is high in plant foods, fish, healthy fats like olive oil.
Got it.
A balanced diet rich in omega-3s in that fish,
That's
seafood.
fish. I'm not a big seafood fish
Fiber
guy, though.
and probiotics supports mood regulation and cognitive function.
Yeah, so I think I do great with protein. I'm looking at the EVOO here. Olive oil, we do that really good. We eat our fair share of veggies and plants. I'm not a big fish guy, though. And so not the fish and the swimmy things, those aren't my favorite things to eat. So
you don't like eating squid?
Well, no.
Shark fin?
No, none of that. Well, let me go on to say here too, people living in blue zones are mindful of not only what they eat, but also how much they eat. Here we go. Now, listen, this is something everyone can do. And this is what I've been trying to do because I've been weighing out my food. Like I'm trying to lose some weight. And so I found that it's been helpful. But listen to what this says. So, for instance, Okinawans follow Hara Hachi Buaka. It's the 80% rule. And I'm going to read that again. Hari Hachi Buaka. And this is the 80% rule. This means they stop eating when they feel 80% full rather than 100% full to avoid overeating and its associated health risks. How amazing and smart is that?
Goodness.
So the Hari Hachi Buaka, the 80% rule, stop eating when you feel about 80%
I love your accent there.
full,
that was
dude.
good.
That's amazing.
Yeah, mindful eating. Wow.
Bro.
That's interesting. The term, you are what you eat.
Dude.
Man.
Oh, my gosh.
Some terrible things.
Well.
With all the sugar. And
I'll say this too, since I have not been eating as much processed food here lately, I just feel better, and I really don't want to go back to it. Now, sometimes life is lifing, and you're busy, and you're on the road, and you
Crystal
don't have time to
burgers.
cook. You're coming back from somewhere late, and you stop and get those greasy Crystal burgers. And God, I'm gonna say, I don't know about y'all, those things to me are hard to beat. Like I just. I love Crystal burgers, bro.
We're
I
not talking
mean,
about
it's
White
just
Castle. We're talking about Crystal burgers.
well, we called them gut busters. They never really busted my gut. It's because I grew up poor. I was forced to eat all kinds of stuff. But now that I'm older and so every now and then I'll indulge. But I just got to say, I feel better about myself. I don't feel
when you don't eat that.
when I
those
don't eat it.
things.
And here's
Yeah,
the thing. And here's what's weird. And this is the psychological aspect of it all. A lot of times people really don't like eating that way, but they do it anyway. And then what happens is you enjoy the food, but after you feel shame and guilt, you're like, why did I eat that? Why did I do that? And so I don't got to deal with those regrets of
if you don't eat it.
if I don't eat it.
You
I'm
don't
like,
have to
I got to worry about it because I really didn't eat that much. So
Right.
anyways, I think it's just adopting this, trying to be aware of overall health and the things that I'm
Yes.
putting into my body. I still do a lot of things wrong, I'm sure. The energy
Oh, yeah.
drinks, things of that nature. But I would just encourage you, start somewhere. Start somewhere.
Start somewhere.
Even
Cut
if
something
it's
out that you know is not good for you.
well, I was going to say, even if you don't change what you're eating, just implement that 80% full rule.
Yeah.
You'll probably see results with that, even if you just
Exactly.
implemented that right there.
Right.
So
Add some greens in. Where they say a colorful plate is a healthy plate.
that's what they
Different
say,
colors.
I believe. I'm not sure.
So this builds interoceptive awareness, which is a key part of emotional regulation. Mindful eating. Do it.
Mindful eating.
Now, I think this is the last. No, we got two more.
You
How
sure?
many more? I don't know. Move naturally every day. Blue Zone communities prioritize mindful movement over structured workouts. Think regular, low impact activities like walking, gardening, cooking, cycling.
Wow.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
Interesting. Regular movement keeps our bodies strong, our moods more balanced, and our minds sharp. Also reduces inflammation, keeps the heart healthy, and supports the part of the brain that helps with memory and learning. So if you're a gardener, gardening, do it just different types of like cooking even. Cooking is movement.
Man, cooking,
you're
walking,
moving.
being mindful. If you got a desk job, get up and walk around a little bit.
Get up and make yourself.
Yeah, I think those things are really good things. I mean, and as I said at the beginning, none of these are going to be mind-blowing concepts, but it's the implementation of the things that's going to
Daily.
make a difference.
Daily
And so
implementation.
I would add too, as we were discussing the spiritual concept or aspect of these things too,
Yeah.
is that, the idea of stewardship comes in when you realize, this God gave me this body and I have an obligation to steward to the best I can the body that God has given me. And then you think about your children, you want to be active and healthy for them. And so find your motivator, find a thing that might be able to help you adopt some of these things, especially as it pertains to social connections. If you don't have connections or if that's a hard thing for you, I would encourage you to start somewhere there and see if you can begin to develop some of those relationships, because I think the key to this is when you're young and you're active and you got a career and you got young kids, all of those things might be easier to do. But as you get older, I would say most of these things, besides the eating part, would probably get harder to do. Think about that. Your movements, your body begins to break down. Think about the social aspect. We become grumpy. You remember that movie, Grumpy Old Men? I'm just saying. So find ways to start now to implement these things right where you are.
And I think that folks would find that if they did try and reach out, that there are so many others just like them who want that same connection. They just don't know where to start either. So,
Well, and I love this.
to
It
have
says,
a friend, be a friend.
absolutely. It says small habits, big impact. We don't need to overhaul our entire lives to benefit from Blue Zone wisdom. It's more about making small, intentional shifts. And it goes on to say, you want to stay connected? Call a friend, share a meal with a family, join a club. Know your why. It could be caring for loved ones, creative work, spiritual growth, service to others. So knowing your why is going to be a motivating factor. Practice staying still. That's building moments of stillness into your day with prayer.
Yep.
And then move more. So we can always move a little more. So small habits, big impact. And you want to be the next centenarian. You implement these things and you just might be. Who knows? Yeah.
The key is to building these things into your daily rhythm, your daily life.
All about consistency. It can't be a fad. It can't be a trend. It has to be something that you do and incorporate on a daily basis. So who knows? You just might live to be 100. Who knows? I don't know. If the Lord grant it and I'm able in all health to do it, then I won't turn it down. So
you got at least 20 more years.
Oh, man, at least 20. She's giving me 20 years, guys. Golly, she's giving me 20. That's rough.
Kidding. No, you'll probably live longer than me.
No, we won't talk about that stuff. But hope you guys were encouraged by that. Hope you might have learned something. And we'll see you next time on the Junto Podcast. That's right, the Together Podcast. Be blessed.